Hello, and welcome back to Wonderland Asylum. We're back today, stage 22 of the Hachette Partworks release of Build the U96 U-boat. So, what are we doing in stage 22? It is the commander's quarters. So basically we're adding on to that area of bunking, the forward crew area that we were building in the last stage. So, not a big pack, but there's lots of wee fiddly bits. So, without further ado, let's have a look at said wee fiddly bits. Okay, so here we have the parts for stage 22. As I say, relatively small pack, but lots of wee bits in it. So we have the rear bulkhead wall with all the storage lockers on it. We have a door. We have another partition wall. We have what looks like a little desk for all the world. We have, I think that's the toilet door. There's a porthole on it, but it's not. Obviously it's blanked out. I may colour that in just to add some detail, I'm not sure. Here we have some cabinets. We have a couple of small white details here. I'm going to get this out. We have a radio, it looks like. Just make sure there's nothing in there. No, there isn't. And we have a magnificently detailed, look at that, little fire extinguisher. Superb. So that's what I find strange is how there's a lack of detail in that door, but the little fire extinguisher looks superb. So what I may well do is, yeah, I'm going to colour that porthole in. So, what I use to do that is just a Sharpie. Now, this may or may not work because I haven't used it in a little while. Easiest way to get ink through and test it is to, yeah, it seems alright. I may need to replace this in the not too distant future. There we go. Just adds, again, a little bit of detail, a little bit of something else to an area that would just otherwise have been blank white. Perfect. So, put the lid back on my Sharpie, try and preserve it as much as possible. The next thing I'm going to need are, of course, sprue cutters. So, the first thing it wants us to do is bring over the assembly from last time. And the first thing we need is, it is indeed a desk. And it is going to be going, try to see where it's going. Just making sure this is the right bit. Now it says it's going in there, but there's no indents for it to sit into, and it has pegs on it. Oh, I see. Right, okay. The pegs go into the side wall. I'm being a donut there. So the pegs are going to go in to these slots there on that side wall. I'm sitting going, they're not going to fit into that floor. There's nowhere for them to go. Again, just a little bit of glue into each of these slots. And in goes the little desk, looking just like that. I think that looks cool. Next thing we need is the little cabinet, and it's going on the wall. Again, put a little bit of glue inside the holes here. It's going on with that shelf facing upward. Like that. Fantastic. And then into the 2 pins holes on that shelf, just see there on the wall where that shelf is, we are putting Commander's little radio. So he gets to listen to the radio. Nobody else does. That's a shame. How very Teutonic. There we go. Again, probably the easiest way to get this in is going to be to, yeah, sit it on the shelf and then slide it back into the indents. That looks great, doesn't it? That looks awesome. The next piece we need is this white piece of that sprue. So clip it off, taking care not to snip the tab off, because we need that tab, because it is going to attach it into that slot there, because that is the Commander's bunk light. So let's see which way around does it go. Yeah, I'll show you in a minute, because it goes like that with a flat section facing down, because I'm assuming that's where the light bulb is. Now again, you're not really going to see a great deal of that, but it looks pretty cool anyway. Okay, and the next thing we need is this kind of partition here, and the 2 hooks there are going to go into 2 indents there. Just like that. Now, I don't need that needs glued. It's the circuit breaker door and room divider. That's what they are. Alright, okay, no, you don't need to glue that because it's getting glued into those pegs there. Okay. Again, just slip a little bit of glue. And I suppose you could glue that if you wanted to, that assembly, just to give it a bit more rigidity as you're putting it in, but I'll try and do it as instructed without putting any glue in. Yeah, it goes in perfectly well. Just like that. So I take that door supposedly goes into the circuit breaker room. And then next we are taking the fire extinguisher that I mentioned earlier, and it is going into that indent on that wall. Could have put that in before you stuck this down, I suppose. There we go. That's looking just like that. Perfect. And the next thing we need is the other small white detail off of the sprue. And it is going onto that square just there. Okay. And the orientation it's going is with the tube section that looks, you can't really see it, it looks like that, facing downwards. Like that. Cool. That is, in fact, the toilet roll holder. Don't know why that's amusing, but it is. And then we need to take this, which is the rear bulkhead. And it's going to fit. There are tabs along there, and they're going to fit into the slots. Or sorry, the tabs along here are going to fit into the slots in this rear divider. So again, Just a little bit of glue into each of these slots. Like that. And take this here and line them up from one side to the other, and they should all just push into place, and they do. A nice snug fit, and that looks like that. Very nice. And the next thing we need to do, which makes things a bit kind of pointless, I suppose, is to fit the toilet door. Now, that's going to be a challenge, to try and get that peg into the hole at the bottom at the same time as lining these two pegs up with the bit in the wall. So let's see, how's this going to go? Ah, there we go. It snaps in not too badly, looking just like that. And that kind of hides the detail in the toilet, which is a bit strange for us to go in to the effort of putting a toilet roll holder and everything in, then just to hide it. But hey, oh well, that's the way it goes. And then I didn't glue it because I wanted to test fit it first. So I'm just going to dab some glue onto the pegs there and under here, and the capillary action will hold that tight. And that glued into place, and that, believe it or not, is us for stage 22. I think that looks great. So that's us done for stage 22. What's coming in stage 23? It is the radio room and listening room. So again, just adding more details onto this piece. That's what we're doing for stage 23. I think stage 23 actually concludes this piece of interior as well. So that'll be nice. But again, that's what it's looking like just now. You can see the details we added there. The commander's kind of desk and everything like that. There's a little radio, the fire extinguisher, and then we put a door on the toilet to hide the details we'd put in there. I will. No worries. Anyway, as always, thank you for watching. Any feedback, comments, criticisms, complaints, drop them down below. Do leave me a like, and do remember to subscribe for the rest of the U96, the rest of the Titanic, and of course, the new 1966 Batmobile. But yeah, thanks again for watching, and as always guys, peace out everyone.